Yes, welcome. Bath time. How you doing, bro? Welcome.
I'm really good, OMONDI.
That was your cue to start the show. I had to jump in for you and take the tackle. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, have you had a good day since yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the last hour I've been sort of watching United and animating these, my special effects award-winning animations, and
I love.
like, oh no, do you know what? I quite enjoy doing them now because when I'm doing them, I get a number 14, which is me, and I put myself where I think I would be in the match, and quite a lot of the time I'm in the wrong place.
Right.
As the game develops, but
Quick
yeah,
question.
looking at the game again yesterday, really disappointing, but I saw some stuff I didn't see at the time, and it'll be interesting to go through it with you and the rest of our guests.
I've got a question for you. Just come to mind. Just brought to my mind right now.
Oh no!
Is there a right way or a wrong way, or can you be flexible? So if like we're doing a tactics board, we're in the same team, and we ask where should you be standing? Is there a right way and a wrong way, or is there a middle ground where it could be flexible, where you can be flexible sometimes to where you have to be and why?
It's a very interesting question, and it's one that is a massive question in Latin America, or it was like 10, 12 years ago when I was there, where it's there's a big debate between something called La Nuestra, which is how you sort of traditionally see like Latin American football, 1-2s and the halfway line, people on diagonals and stuff. And that's a form of football that's called relationism, and it's where you position yourself. Yeah, it's you position yourself relating to the opponents and your teammates. And what we have is positional play, which is structured, and it's almost like automatons and robots. And like having sort of been around a few countries playing football, I think that cultural things come into it. Like I can't imagine a training session in Ghana doing 2 touches is the same as doing one in England doing 2 touches. And I am of the belief that football has become too homogenized, and people and stuff like that. But what I can safely say is that I believe Ten Hag will say that players should be in certain places. But for me, I think a lot of it depends on. I'm more a relationship sort of person. I think that you have to look at where your teammates and the opposition are, and adjust accordingly.
So do you think in Premiership, where we have like a lot of international players now coming in to the game, someone from South America could have been brought up in a South American style of thing? Do you think there's ever a clash when they're doing a data analysis to say, hold on, boss, why should I do that? I should be here because A, B, and C. And the boss say, no, I'm the boss. This is what we have to do, and explain why we have to do it this way. We're not in South America now, or we're not in Africa now, or Asia. This is how we do it here, So do you think football's still fluid enough? Because it is. We talked about American sports the other day, how stop-start it is and plays, that kind of thing. But football's got that improvisation still to it. It's got that flair, that fluidness to it, where you can do some things. You can't. Some things you can't train, for example.
Yeah.
So do you?
Like the Hoyland goal.
Yeah. Exactly. That. That's a good point.
I think right. Okay, so there's 2 sort of camps, isn't there? There's like Ancelotti, who lets players sort it out on the pitch, and he prepares them as best as possible. And I think I've even seen a clip of him consulting them about a substitution once. And then there's Pep, who like marks lines on the pitch and can't have 3 players on the same horizontal line and things like this. So I think it all depends on who you're playing for. A lot of it comes from the manager, and also it's very rare to have a player that hasn't come through the academy system. I mean, the 3 off the top of my head are Smalling, Vardy, and Ian Wright.
Yeah.
And like, but I sort of think that sometimes you coach the magic out of players. I read this great article once, where It was about the Cameroonian team in the 90s or the 80s, and they hadn't seen highlights of a football match, but they were all in the dressing room listening to it on the radio, and they were imagining what they were hearing, and it helped them in the next game because they were sort of like picture. And I think that's one of the magic of Championship Manager actually is that like you read what's being said and you make the story in your head, and because we're drilled all the time, I think that we lack that ability for creativity. Sometimes it's like the difference in creativity and problem solving, where creativity is the ability to find a new solution to get a result, and problem solving is like a more step-by-step nature of working through it. And I think you don't get too many creative players anymore. I think that you get problem solvers now, and we all love that. Hang on a second. Why am I getting a strike? Andrew, explain yourself, please.
He's going Jesus and a strike against Darius already. I'm not sure.
Right, should we say hello to the comments rather than
certainly? Big up Big T's in the house saying, "Oh, what an inviting title! Bruno Rashford exposed. We'll have to dig out Chianti out. What is Chianti out?
It's a type of Italian wine.
Okay. I'm not a connoisseur in wines. Stephanie Griffiths, how you doing? I've been saying it all season. Bruno, Rashi, Scott, moments on the pitch together are effectively playing with 8 or 9 men. There is no I in team. Big up the Man United agenda. Big up to you, Stephanie. Big up to DK Wilson all the way from the States. Big up Andrew Williams again. He said, "Come on, Chiefs," or "All right, Chiefs." Chiefs means PUSSY where I'm from. So I take that back. Good evening to the Media House. Andrew Williams again is saying here, "All right, Dream Team, aka Big T, Steph, and Zoe, and DK as well. There's more to come." Big T is saying, "All right," to Andrew. Matthew Bassett in the house. Thumbs up and a fist pump, no doubt. Question: is Gary Neville a problem? That's from Zoe Media House. Yes, good. Looking forward to analysis on the second goal. Whose second goal? Tottenham's one or our one? And we deserve better than house saying, "Good, that doggy's lovely. Thank you." I've got 3. Big T saying here, and she's got a system that delivers it with players missing. Ten Hag has no excuse. That's Big T. That's a lot. I've heard a lot of that today from fans. Neil Warnock, you have to tell his players not to pass to certain players. A good manager manages his squad's creativity. So it's a good discussion we had just there. Psycho babble limit of 3. Okay, that's why he was upset. Big up Damien Walsh, Drayton Manor High School. That's my school. That's your school. And we've had the best schooling. Big up Ted Dill, Chelsea coach, our teacher. He says, "Good evening, everyone. The midfield is still getting outplayed nearly every game. Massive problem. I think Kobe and Casemiro would help." So there you go. There's a problem-solving solution. And big up to Bart is in the house. Now, we all know Bart is a Liverpool fan, but he's respectful and we love him on the show. He's saying here the current squad suits Ollie Ball, not this Cruyffian disciple. Everyone's a disciple of Cruyff. Come on, he's a great player and manager. Andrew Williams saying, "Andrew's done great there. Acid test is next season." A bit like us, we're in our second season and we're feeling it. And Rebel is in the house. How you doing, Rebel? Everyone say hi to Rebs. He's saying, "The only good news is that we don't have United pissing us off again until the 1st or 2nd of February. Many divas in the playing squad." Okay, so he's disappointed, but happy that we don't have to play for another 2 weeks. Oh, you went to Villiers in Southall. We deserve better. We need to talk. I know Villiers really well. Yeah, great school. Big up. We deserve better. Shows you. So you're from West London, like us. Anyway, let's get this going.
All right, should we get into it?
Let's go. I'm ready. All right,
I'm going to start you off with a quote. So this is Juanma Leo, who is the Manchester City assistant manager. And when talking about football tactics, he said, "It's funny how everyone talks about a high block, a low block. The only blocks that I know are apartment blocks, with a garage, without a garage. The eagerness to find vocabulary that makes football more difficult to understand pisses me off." And I absolutely love this quote because I think it's true, but I also think the reverse is true, is that people use words they don't understand to piss me off. And I also quite like the title I came up with, which is 115 problems, but a block ain't one.
Good one. Poor Everton, poor Forest.
Yeah.
But just going back to the quote, I think it's a really good quote when you really break it down. I mean, yeah, it's true. And this is coming from a guy who's qualified to talk on tactics. He's helping out Pep in one of the best footballing teams in the world, and one of the most advanced teams in the world as well. So he should know what he's talking about.
I mean, Juanma is one of the most influential managers of all time. There was a really famous game between Oviedo and Barcelona in I'm probably going to get the year wrong. They always used to talk about it in Oviedo, 95, maybe 96. And Pep, I think they lost 4-1 or something in Oviedo, but they hammered Barcelona. And Leo was the manager. And Pep, who was a player at the time, demanded an audience with him for him to explain what the hell had gone out on the pitch. And 30 years later, they're working together. But he's a very interesting guy, Leo. You should everyone should look him up, some of his quotes. But I really like how he sort of says that football should be accessible, and that's what the point of this program is. For God's sake, just getting lots of suggestions and strikes in chat tonight, OMONDI. All right.
Big up, Big T. Just hang around. You're going to enjoy this.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about cutbacks and pressing, because I think that those were the most important things that happened in the match. And the first thing to sort of be aware of is that in football, there aren't defenders or attackers. You defend as a team, you attack as a team, and you do that within units, right? It's not, I don't know, the 1960s where you'll have, Ferenc Puskás up front, just not doing anything. And the interesting thing for OMONDI, you're do you disagree with this?
Yeah, I do a bit. I don't think it was like that. You were disrespecting Puskás there. I think he played in a Hungarian team, was well advanced, and they done really well. They were very successful. So I think you'd have to go back to maybe to the 1910s or something like that, when football is in its developing stage. The 60s shouldn't be written off tactically.
Right, it was the first old player that I could think of. But do you disagree with the point that you defend and you attack as a team?
No, I don't. I think that's true. I think it's very true. It should be like that. Units, especially, and that it's all one unit. The team is the whole unit on the whole. So I do agree with that point. And defend the ball, players, and spaces. I like that as well. We discussed this on the show before, so especially you've highlighted this point, but I'm sure the guys would like to know about it. I've implemented this philosophy as well. You like you were saying about the strikers yesterday, about how they attack spaces. With Koeland's runs are poor, and even though he looks like he's doing a lot of work in the box to try and create space, sometimes you just stand still and then attack the space, or leave the space open to attack it, that sort of thing. So these sort of understanding of the game, the mechanics, and what makes how to be successful and problem solving is I just love, especially when you can go and carry it out, whether you're coaching or playing as well. So yeah, let's get into this.
All right, wicked. Well, we got 5 clips, and we'll get into them later. But I like doing it where we sort of explain the theory, and then we show it in practice. Let me know in the comments if you want me to sort of switch it up, as it were. But cutbacks. All right. So there's some very basic stuff that you do to defend a cutback. The first thing is you want to stop the cross, right? So the more pressure you put on the guy crossing, obviously, you would imagine the worse the cross is. It's much easier to cross when you've got time and space. And you need to defend the space behind and in front and the back post.
Yeah.
Basic stuff, yeah? And for this, I like using a diamond structure. All right.
Explain.
I'm going to show you the diamond structure now. So this this here is how I like to defend cutbacks as a team. The diamond structure is the 2, the 4, the 5, and the 6.
Okay, in the box there.
Yeah, so you have like one centre back, sort of like a little bit further behind, defend the space in behind. You've got your fullback and the strong side centre back here who are going to attack it. And you've got the 6 who is watching for late runners. And like, look, Andrew's got a point put up here. Deloney got caught out at the back post yesterday. That's actually coaching. Do you see that structure, Andrew? The 2, 4, 5, and 6. That is something that you will see all the time from loads of teams. And one of the reasons why we get caught out on the back post so much is because everyone, it's about the sort of homogenization of football, is everyone knows we're going to set up like this, that every team's going to defend a cutback like this. So they're looking to exploit that space. And that's why Delo, Wan-Bissaka, Shaw, Malacia are the ones that are targeted a lot of the time. But it's much better to defend the back post than it is the space in behind or in front, as you've seen from a lot of football matches. So, looking at that setup, OMONDI, do you see any problems, or do you not like it? Or
no, it looks good. You got the guy who's playing the ball being sort of closed down. You got people around him. The people being sort of marked, or they're close enough, unless that number 10 is Bruno. You know he's not going to track back. But yeah, it looks like a nice setup. The only thing I would want is maybe the number 6 in and around number 4, and someone tucking in where the 6 is as well. But that's just me as a defender. But I would say, just going back to the point made about Delo, I recall that as well, when there was a header at the back post, and Delo was just staring at the ball and staring at his defenders, and he should have shaped his body to have a vision to see where Werner, I think it was, behind him. That means sort of standing sideways on, because you can stand sideways on and look that way. You don't have to be facing that, turn your whole body there to look at the play. You can just stand sideways on, look that way, and then be able to turn your head and know where your opponent is behind you. And I think he just went to sleep for a slight second there, and we almost got punished for it.
You'd be very pleased to know that that's one of the animations that I have for you this evening.
All right. Okay.
And I'll tell you why the 6 is where he is OMONDI, is that I'm a massive fan of diagonals. And if you look at the players in that block, they're all on diagonals, because that's the most dangerous ball in, is the diagonal one. Because if you're, say it's going to the number 11 along the ground, the 9's got an opportunity to get there, the 10's got an opportunity to get there, the 11's got an opportunity to get there. So you want your team set up in diagonals to sort of stagger the men, to be able to give yourself a better chance of getting a foot or a head on it. And also the number 6 should always be around the penalty spot, and the other pivot should always be in the channel. And that's where they are.
Can I just stop you there, because there's a lot of questions. I think we should tackle them right now, quickly. Delo nearly got caught in the back post yesterday, snoozing by Werner. That's Andrew Williams. JR saying there, Delo did a lot better at the back post than last season. Bath-time, why are we so bad at set pieces? Didn't we score? They conceded from corner yesterday. Andrew Williams saying here, why is that Ndogi nearly conceded an own goal? His body position all game was poor. That's Andrew Williams. Big T saying here, we have had our set piece coach for years. It's stagnant. We need a new one. Zoe Media House saying, question, as a 40-year-old, do you struggle to relate to modern football, Premier League football? Honestly, this isn't about Man U, but don't know how much longer I can watch the Premier League. The feeling is dying. Oh, wow. Okay, that's from Story. Andrew saying here, one thing, look at the height of the team yesterday. So that you were concerned about that as well, weren't you? And Doggy, too far on when defending. He is new to defence, just needs some coaching, a bit raw. And Big T is saying here, Zoe, I'm still mentally at 4-4-2. I can't absorb this new shit. That's from Big T as well. When asked, obviously, because Zoe asked a question about the Premier League and can we relate to these new style of football that we're seeing, new shapes that we're seeing here? But the fundamentals, I think, remain the same.
Well, it's not new, is it? Like this is from the Wolves team of the 50s. Like it's just football goes in cycles, and at the moment we're in this cycle, and I think the issue with it is the Mavericks have gone out of the game. You know, like where would David Beckham play in this? Where would like Eric Cantona be? Where are you putting Giggs? Like, yeah, or things like that. I mean, I love football, and I always will love football. But I do understand that some people feel like just don't like this new sort of scientific, synthetic football instead of like the sort of off the cuff brilliance. But I'm now going to show you a training drill that I used to do on Monday.
Let's get into this. So this is training for cutbacks. Okay.
Yeah, someone asked about set pieces and stuff. I can give you a training drill I used to do with cutbacks. And I'm the number 6 in this. And it's really, really simple. You all stand in a line. The coach has got the ball up on the side that you're going to be attacked from. So that's the first picture. That's how you all set up. So it's 5 or 6 versus 4. And then the second picture is where the opposition want to be. And you can see there probably better now. You can see the diagonal that they're on with the 10 like offset on it. And then you see the diamond shape that everyone's got to get into to protect against the cutback. And this is something that I really think that United could do with doing. I mean, what sort of drills did you do for cutbacks on Monday or crosses in general?
To be honest, I don't recall. I mean, I'm a bit older. I'm like nearly 50, and I remember drills like defending crosses, little 1-2s, and then defending a cross, and you have to man mark a guy in the box. But nothing as intricate as this. So it was just about doing like drills 5 against 4, you know, being outnumbered in defence and letting them play the ball, and we're just organising ourselves, keeping ourselves nice and compact, and talking to one another and defending, and you know, over and over again. So it wasn't really maybe I wouldn't blame the coaches. I felt we'd done all right, you know, but it wasn't intricate as this. I was never told what positions necessary to stand in. It's just about defending these drills. And coming out on top of the 5 attackers coming at you.
Well, I mean, this is just about getting into shape, really. Like it's about getting into that diamond shape, and I also used to love these drills because they involved a lot of running. I like running, like in training, and also you can do these with an 11-a-side team, which is great because there's 11 men. Sorry, I've been distracted by JR. A few years ago, he had a new system called overlapping centre backs.
Sheffield United.
I've got very hazy memories of Euro '96. I was quite young then, so I don't really remember the Christmas tree formation. I do remember in Mike Bassett Football Manager, he talked about a player being the sixpence in a Christmas pudding, which I enjoyed.
That was Ozzy Ardiles did that at Spurs. Took that on this Christmas tree formation, and it got the media destroyed it. And they were really exciting games. They would either lose 5-4 or something like that, or win, 4-5-0. It was different, and it's brought. So Terry Venables, rest in peace. He was someone who was this is going back to '96. Yeah, he did have overlapping centre backs. I would name them. It was Tony Adams. There was Stuart Pearce, Gary Neville, and Gareth Southgate, and they would like you'd find it would be a back three, and then you get another guy. It was different, very different. It'd be a back. And going back to Bobby Robson, 1990, he also had a similar thing with Mark Wright, Des Walker, and Terry Butcher. So that's 3 centre backs with Paul Parker and Stuart Pearce pushing on as the width as well. So I think these managers, Bobby Robson and Terry Venables, did sort of introduce that to the international game. It was only Ozzy Ardiles who brought it to the Premiership or the First Division football, and it sort of failed.
It's interesting when you put that into context about how that's 3 at the back with the width coming from deep, which to me doesn't seem too dissimilar from modern football. I think that I don't like formations. I think that they're like simplistic and they don't really explain what's going on. God, look, people in the comments tonight. I'm sorry that I don't like it when I see all of you saying you don't like football and stuff like anymore because it's too regimented. Like this was sort of meant to be something where you could like look at a football match and maybe see things that you didn't notice. But instead, everyone's just I hate football now. Oh dear. There you go, Monday. This will excite you.
When we were younger, we had to be bused to Viking school because an MP said us brown people were bringing down others' education. That's true. That's true. I'll just tell you a quick story about this. In the 70s in Southall, there was a big population of Asians from the Punjab and from Kenya coming over. And because they were congregated in one big area, they used to hire buses to take them to different schools all over the area to sort of more predominantly Caucasian white schools. So all these buses would come along in the morning to Southall and ship these kids miles and miles away from your catchment area to the other side of the borough to be schooled to sort of separate them out. It was a big thing back then. Nothing to do with what we were talking about. But
I was trying to work out a park the bus joke, but I think that would be a bit insensitive. Big T, the horror movie comes later. Thank you, DK Wilson. I always really like your enthusiasm for this, and I always think of you and Gavin Ward, Big G, when I'm doing these because he's always complaining about the size of the things that I put up.
There's always one.
Yeah, but no, I appreciate it. You're more than welcome to like criticize what I'm doing. I don't mind. I don't know. I just feel a bit bad that a couple of people said they don't like modern football. Yeah, park the bus. There's a joke in there, Andrew. Rosa. All right, let's talk about pressing. So at the start of the program, I put that quote in from Leo about basically people invent words to make things more complicated. And so I thought I'd discuss a bit about what pressing is and what it isn't, so that people have a better idea of what the language means. So traditionally, you get a trap versus a trigger. And do you remember this, Monday? We did this on Rich's channel. That pressing traps are geographic, right? And that means that a pressing trap is designed to occur in a certain area of the pitch. So you're trying to force the enemy into an area of the pitch to pinch the ball from them. So pressing traps are much more sophisticated than pressing triggers. A trigger is a situational event that the other people do, that the enemies do, and you react to. And both of these things, whether it's trap or a trigger, have to be highly coordinated. And I want you to remember this for the first goal, right? When we show Tottenham's second goal, I want you to remember that about coordination.
Yeah.
Okay. Triggers. So with the trigger, you're looking for something to happen. Okay. So it's like, if this happens, you do that. And the key thing is that when that trigger happens, what we're looking to do is we're looking to narrow the football pitch. Every defensive system works best when it's narrow. Even things like the counter press, which people think is an attacking thing, that's obviously defending, but it needs to be narrow. And we narrow it by passing men off. Because we're all going to be, say we're all running from right to left. Mm-hmm. The man you were accountable for he's gone. You've got to go and run on to someone else's.
Yes.
So it's like, it's absolutely beautiful when it's done properly. It's like ballet, if it were interesting. And there are two extremely common pressing triggers. There are other ones, but these are the two that everyone will know. Sideways pass to a centre back and a straight ball backwards, right? But, Monday, I have been done by this before, and it felt personal. Where teams, they know what, but everyone knows what the pressing triggers are in the Premier League or at any level. And sometimes they pretend to do it to make you fall into a trap. And this happened to me where they widen the distances too much. And I got suckered in with a straight ball back from my opposite midfielder. And I followed it. And we were under pressure for about 10 minutes because I fell for this effing trap.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever watch Manchester City play, they do this all the time. Like it looks like they've been sucked into one side, and then they get it to Ederson and he switches it out to a fullback who's halfway up the pitch. Like sometimes, and remember this for the second clip that I show you, sometimes the opposition team are trying to trick you with these things.
So it's a bluff.
Yeah. It's a bait and switch, essentially. Yeah. It's like, if you want to think about it, like in boxing terms, it's a rope-a-dope.
Feint.
No, it's a rope-a-dope. You know, you're in the corner pummeling them, and before you know it, they've switched on you, and you're getting smacked up for 10 minutes.
Or like a feint, you go to feint something and get reaction from them. They react when they're not supposed to. In boxing terminology,
No, that's true.
So just going back to this point, I want to ask you a question here, Bartho. So the trigger here is when a sideways pass to the centre back. So when they pass it to each other, that's the trigger to go and press. And the other trigger is a straight ball back. Then you can all go as a team. Usually, these are just general.
These are there will be other ones, but I've got to confess, at the level of the Premier League, I don't know what they are. But these are two that everyone will know. And before we move on, is everyone happy?
Just a quick one, DK was saying, I learn every time I listen to Bath Time, and Bath Time have developed some tactical ideas I'd like to discuss with you privately. So DK Wilson, reach out.
Not privately, DK. You come on the show.
Yeah,
why don't you just come on next week?
Good question. I'm sure you answer it in the comments. Zoe Media House saying here, we deserve better. We used to have turf war football matches in Birmingham. The South Asians always won. That's talking about the issue with the moving people around schooling. We deserve better saying, okay, they're still going on. Sorry, I thought it was football related. I miss the old ways, the 4-4-2, attack, and real wingers. West side is the best side, no doubt about that. My fingers or how it used to go. Got to go. Thanks, Andrew. Hopefully we'll see you later or you catch up later. I hate sideways passing, says Damien.
Oh, no.
And I think 4-4-2 done correctly can destroy this diluted football. Yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages to every sort of formation or system. I was actually thinking that, says DK Wilson. You better come on then, DK Wilson. There's a seat available for you.
Like we're a community channel, so if we know you, I've got no problem with people coming on. I do have a problem with Damien Walsh saying I hate sideways passing. Sideways passing is probably the biggest.
Maybe he's a centre back and always got caught by a trap.
Maybe, but sideways passing is something that Manchester United need to do more of. Thank you. We deserve better. That's extremely kind of you. But here, I've just got some pictures.
Yeah.
So this is the straight pass back, Omondo. And the reason why this is a pressing trigger is the number 8 can follow that line to the 5, and the 6 can come in and get the 10 if needs be. But it means that you can jump the line.
Yeah.
So that's why the straight pass back is one trigger, and then this is what you know what the pop is. This is a straight pass across, and here, what you would tend to see is you would see the 10 go to the goalkeeper, right?
Yep.
The 9 goes to the 4, 11 goes 3, 10 goes 8. 6 goes 10 and 7 goes 5.
Okay, so who picks up 6?
7.
Okay.
Did I say? Sorry, I think I said that wrong. Basically, everyone moves over a man, and the free man is now the number 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are just examples of it, and don't worry, boys. We're nearly at the. Thank you, Zoe. We're nearly at the fun stuff where we get to see the diagrams. I just want to do some sort of basic like vocabulary because I don't like sort of saying counter pressing and things like that, and making it sound like it's like when you see your lawyer and they start talking legalese, like shut up and tell me what it means.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got two terms. One is screening. All screening is blocking a pass. All right. And it's an analog, which means it's the same thing basically as where you hear people say use their cover shadow better. Your cover shadow is the area that your body blocks off. Right. So when you're screening, what you're doing is you're trying to screen a forward pass. So last week we talked about behind and between.
Yeah.
And what that does is it fixes players because they need to screen. Right? They can't allow the pass into the 6 or the 8, for example. So you get players stuck in the middle. Mm-hmm. And then jumping, which we talked about earlier, is moving up a defensive line. So here, when the 8 jumps to the 5, that's a jump. Right? Yep. So he's gone up into a different defensive line. And when you jump, you still got to screen. Right. You still got to block that pass. So a lot of the time, you do this by curving your run. So, for example, here, when the 9 is getting onto the 4, he's gonna have to curve his run to take out one of the passes, whether it's the 6, the 8, or the 3. And by curving your run, you take someone out. And when you've taken someone out, that means you can narrow the pitch even more. So is all that clear?
Yep.
Have we got any comments about how it is?
So Damien is saying here, I mean, out of defensive sideways passing is easy to press against. That's why I'm happy Martinez is back.
That is such a good comment.
I'll go back to that. So again, out of defensive sideways passing is easy to press against. That's why I'm happy Martinez is back.
Oh, Damien.
I don't get it.
You beautiful man. I know what he's talking about, and it's the next slide.
Bathtime is a do what saw. Let's play a game. Horror movie.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. I'm not a big fan of horror movies, but I really like Saw and I really like Hostel. I don't like the gory bits, but the bit I like in Saw is like someone, obviously, spoiler for, was it 20 years old? Someone saws off their leg, and as they're sort of crawling for freedom to get out of the room, the bloke walks past them to get out, like the guy who set it all up. And I love the idea of him going, "All right, mate," and everyone going, "Yep," as he goes past. Big fan of Saw. Right. So Damien was talking about sideways passing. And this is why I also don't like sideways passing from the defence. Because who is the greatest defender of all time, OMONDI?
Franz Beckenbauer.
No. It's Harry Maguire. And after Harry Maguire, it's the touchline.
Oh,
the
right.
Touchline, yeah, it never makes a mistake. Okay. And it's the way that gets you done, because out by the touchline, you're basically going to have to give up possession if you're pressed properly, like either by booting it up the pitch, booting it out. This is why kicking the ball off a man has become such an important task.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And so this is where the trap is. Remember, the trap's geographic, so it's like a location. We want to trap people by the touchline because it's the best defender. And we do that. We narrow the pitch by screening. We take away the passing angles of the players. And then we make the pitch smaller. We squeeze it by jumping the lines. We cut the keeper off and we target a specific player. And that's a basic, like, sort of pressing trap. And Damien is so right. Sideways passes get you in trouble in defence, and they got us in trouble. And right, do you want to read your Krypton factor joke out?
Yeah. So DK Wilson saying sideways passing requires the least defensive adjustments. Zoe saying I can see Bath Time hosting an episode of Blockbusters or Krypton Factor. Remember that Krypton Factor? Gordon.
Yeah, I loved it.
Gordon, someone. And Big T saying how many players get done on the touchline question. It's a risk using it. And DK Wilson again saying, that and creates what amounts to the team with the ball trapping itself.
Yes.
And creates what amounts to the team with the ball trapping itself. Yeah. He's
got it. So those are the slides that I have for you. If anyone wants my coaching drill, you can see it again. But I think on Monday, it's probably time to look at some animations.
I'm ready for this. Let's go.
Oh,
this is yesterday's game, right?
Yes, this is all from yesterday's game.
Relevant.
Right. First thing is, it doesn't have... I have not done the United goals because there's nothing... They're just random events, to be honest. But we're going to look at the first United... the second Spurs goal. Okay? I haven't animated the first, but I've animated the second. And bonus points, if anyone remembers from 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to share my screen. I can't see the screen when it's up, so Omondi is going to have to tell me the comments. All right. Are we up, Mr. Juma?
Yes. Could you want to enlarge it again a little bit like last
I've
week?
embiggened it for you.
Okay, good. Because I don't want any complaints in the comments again.
Yeah, I know. Always revolting. All right. Are you happy with what you're seeing here, yeah?
So we're in red, clearly, and you've actually got names for the players, which is good. We always do.
Okay. And remember, Ale is Alejandro Garnacho.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
So, all right, I've got the ball now. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. All right. Talk us through it.
So the goalkeeper's got the ball, sprays it out to Romero, right back. He plays a long pass into Skip, bypassing the press, and Skip pushes forward, out wide to Werner, and Skip continues his run. Someone has to go with him, which opens up space for Benkentor, and he drives into the box and scores a goal. Wow, wasn't that easy?
Mm-hmm.
And simple.
Yeah.
I can hardly remember this goal, but wow. So Skip plays it wide to Werner, and he continues his run, which means Kobe has to go with him, which creates space for Ericsson. Sorry, not Ericsson, Benkentor to come in. Go back again. Where's Benkentor? What's his name? Benkentor. He's there, number 10. Okay. All right.
All
so
right. Do you want to play it one more time?
Yeah, let's do it again.
All right.
So Romero gets the ball and under no pressure, plays it through to Skip, who's unmarked. He drives forward, and meanwhile, Benkentor, the goal scorer's got ahead of Bruno and Ericsson, and the space is opened up for him by rotations there with Skip, and he gets into the box, drives, beats Evans, doesn't he? And slots it in the back of the net.
All right. Should we get... do you want to see it again, or do you want me to go through it?
Let's do it one more time. And guys, maybe focus on the player or the movement, maybe, of Spurs. And then before we get in...
I'll give you a little clue. Ericsson is who we're going to be talking about here.
All right, so let's focus on Ericsson, guys. Shall we run that play again? So here we go. Ball goes out to Romero. They come to get it, but it's bypassed. And Skip picks up the ball. He drives forward. Werner's wide. Dalla has to go with him. Skip continues his run. Kobe goes with him. Benkentor comes in, picks up the ball. That's zone 14. Drives into the box and slots it home. Unfazed, unmarked. So, yeah, guys, brilliant.
All right. There's a few things in this that I don't like, but we should start off as we always do with the setup. Evans and Varane looking after Richard Carlson. Everyone is man for man. These two as well, except for Erasmus and Rashford. So what we are looking for here is if the ball comes out here, Rasmus is going to have to get there to stop the ball to the goalkeeper, and Rashford has to apply pressure and screen the ball to Højbjerg at this
Right.
particular moment. But this is a trap that United have tried to set. And the trap is with Eriksen. So Eriksen has jumped. Yeah?
Sorry,
Jump from Benton.
rewind a little bit. I'm getting distracted by dogs here. So go on. Yeah, from there.
So from
Go
here.
back to Eriksen, the trap.
So the trap is that Eriksen's picking up Bentancur,
Yep.
but Eriksen's going to jump. So he jumps to Højbjerg.
This is okay.
Bruno's got Porro, and unfortunately, Rashford does not apply anywhere near the correct amount of pressure. It is shocking what Rashford does. And then here, this is something that confuses me. Alejandro's gone on to skip. Kobe's on Bentancur, right? I don't know. If the ball had gone out here, I don't know if Kobe is going to be the one that jumps. But this is something that is planned, OMONDI. And the plan is for Eriksen to jump.
Yep.
And so as it goes on, right, that pass there is because Rashford, I don't know. I don't want to, I know everyone's jumping on Rashford at the moment. I don't know if Rashford is dozy in this situation, and I don't know if he knows what is going on. But from their starting positions of here, he should bloody know. So as it gets played on, Romero, you can't give time and space to a centre-back. Everyone behind Skip is out of the game.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the rule? Even defending.
5 and 5.
Yep. What do we do with even defending?
Even defending, I can't remember.
Give up the space. Don't commit.
Okay.
So Skip knows this. Skip does pretty well. He carries. Now, Kobe's job here, when he receives the ball, is he has to force him wide.
Yep.
Right? The issue is that Kobe Manu is a great player. And he's going to be a superstar, but he doesn't have what I call a lengthy stride. Do you remember how Patrick Vieira, with the long legs, used to eat up the ground? Kobe doesn't have this, and he can't keep up with Skip, so he can't force him wide. Skip's central. Skip's not a great player, and this ball to Werner is terrible. But Spurs are going to try and make that space available.
Yep.
Okay. Do you remember like how we talked about players like Cavani used to use a space to simmer, and then they'd attack it? Spurs, everything they're doing here is to get that space. And all right, you can see that these players here, and Alejandro, Eriksen, and Bruno, don't have the running power to get back.
Yeah.
And of all of them, it's Eriksen who, watch Eriksen here. Like, this is the ball going past Eriksen. He has to run the furthest, and he does okay. He keeps going. Right. Kobe's defending the channel. Skip is a good boy, and he's run the channel.
Yeah.
That space is open, and look how it opens. If I take it back, first of all, let's watch this run with Bruno and Bentancur. Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
Bruno, for some reason, is going here. I have absolutely no idea why. Because in those training drills, like, do you remember the diamond structure?
Yeah. Yep.
Bruno should be there.
Yep. Get that.
Like, Bruno should 100% be there. I don't know what he's doing. And also, like, as Werner gets the ball and he jinks inside, Skip is going to run the channel, which is the space between the fullback and the centre half. Kobe's going to go with him. Okay?
Yeah.
So, first of all, this is good from Kobe. So Kobe goes with him. Here, however, when Werner does that little jink inside, Kobe Mainu should step up. He should step there, and Bruno should be there. Right? He doesn't, and Bentancur has bent his run in here because look what Spurs have done. They've opened that area there, and poor old Johnny Evans, he knows. He knows that this is open, and Johnny Evans wants to step up, but Kobe hasn't committed, right? And this is, although it's a mistake, when you have a teenager in your team with no hours in professional football, you have to accept these things. Like, if Kobe steps up here, it makes it a hell of a lot harder. If Bruno is there, it makes it a hell of a lot harder. And Evans can actually shorten that channel if he wants, depending on the situation. He doesn't, and Bentancur just runs in, he sells Evans, and Onana is pathetic with the shot. So, again, here, a pressing trap, but this guy here doesn't work hard enough on attack, and this guy here doesn't understand the basics of defending. And the other thing to consider, Omondi, is that when you're planning these things, you have to think about defense, right? The manager has made the choice that Garnacho and Kobe are going to cover Eriksen, and Kobe doesn't have the stride to force Skip out wide. If he forces Skip here instead of where Skip ends up out here, if he forces him out here, it's narrower, and narrower means a better defensive structure.
Yeah.
So I'll play this.
It's great. It's just by the way, it's great that you keep referring. This is why it's important to have the sort of slides earlier to understand what each pressure trap is and what the triggers are, because you're just reeling off the points again, and this is highlighted in the goal clearly. It's just very simple. The way you set this out, really good stuff.
Well, like, look, what should happen is Rashford attacks him, Rasmus attacks him, Bentancur, Eriksen slips off.
Yeah.
We get that movement of everyone passing their man off.
Narrows.
Bruno, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and then we've got these three here to deal with an out ball, and we've got them along the touchline.
Yeah.
It's actually not that bad what he's trying to do here.
Which goes back to what you're saying about defending. It's not about defending as a team.
And Rashford doesn't defend as a team. And to be honest, Kobe and Bruno and Evans need to communicate more. But I'll play it again. I'll play it twice, and you can add any commentary that you want on this.
Okay, so once again, you want to pass off the man, but it's bypass because there's no pressure on the centre back. Skip drives forward, a bit like we saw against Nottingham Forest the other game. Yates it was. Werner cuts inside to this danger zone, which has been taken up by Benton to score. And as you said, pathetic. I disagree with the goalkeeper. Pathetic. But yeah, it's a great move and very simple. Just direct. We got numbers here, but still.
Look how they
the
leave
run
that
by
space,
Bruno.
though.
Yeah, the Bruno. I do agree with you there about Bruno. Maybe should have kept running towards Bentancur. He's sort of like can point at Eriksen and say, "You didn't get there." It's like hiding and passing them off. Bruno's ahead of Eriksen there. He should go with Bentancur and go with him now, but he's gone straight.
Well, no, I think I think he's cheating.
Yeah,
Bruno here. Like, let me get the exact moment. He's passed Bentancur off here. Like,
without saying nothing.
Yeah,
he should. He's
that's his man.
Yeah,
that's his man. Worry about Porro later. Like, if Porro comes in round the back post, we'll deal with it. Like, worry about it later. But you know Eriksen. You know he's a tractor. Like, he's reliable, but he's not explosive. You know this guy. You know Kobe's a child. Get in there. And also, the other thing, right? If you bend your run, you can check him. You can get your shoulder on him legally, and just that takes a yard off a player. And yards matter. But he doesn't. OMONDI, he runs away. And what is he doing? Like, does he think that Werner's going to swing a ball in to Johnson? I don't know if this is on the manager.
If you make that run and you still get back, why not just go with the guy? It's like, what's the point? Like you said, it's pointless in being there. You make that run, you make that effort. It's harder running back, but you make all that effort to run back. Then go and defend as a team.
Look,
and go do what's necessary. Like you
said
about the structure, the diamond. I see it now.
Be there.
What do you mean about the diamond? That makes a lot of sense now to me.
Yeah, and the thing is, right? Don't worry, we'll get to the comments in just 1 second. Is here. I don't like this. I don't like this jump from Eriksen because Eriksen lacks recovery pace.
Yeah.
Right? You can deal with that if no one shout at me. That is Scott McTominay. If Kobe is Scott McTominay, we can deal with this. And he's the only player in the team, McTominay, that can deal with this here. Casemiro, not a chance. So, that's not like McTominay should play. You all know how I feel about McTominay. I think he's brilliant. But you can't do this stuff if Kobe is the one that has got to force the guy out wide. I think it's really bad management because you're putting your trust in two kids, in Alejandro and Kobe, and they're not lengthy enough. Like, whatever you say about McTominay, he can eat the yards up. And we saw him against Forest successfully push Yates wide. Kobe can't do this against Skip. And Skip gives a shit ball to Werner. Like, make no mistake, like, the quality of balls from Richarlison, Skip, Werner, they're not, like, top level at all. But we made it easy for them, and the manager did. And this is the problem that I have, is that Eriksen, you can't have Eriksen jumping. It's a misuse of resources. But anyway, I'm gonna stop here. I'm going to look at some comments.
I mean,
sorry?
I think it's great stuff. I mean, we watched the goal, but when you see it like that in detail, it makes a world of difference to me. And I'm seeing a lot more stuff which you've explained earlier about it. So here we go. Let's go back. All right. Did Bruno not cover correctly? Says DK Wilson. Skip played them all. Says we deserve better. Oh no. Oh, not Bruno. Sorry, DK Wilson. Eriksen, tut from JR. We deserve better saying. And that first ball took out, this from Romero, took out 5 players from United.
Right. We deserve better. Why does it take out 5 players? You can't answer quickly enough. I understand. It's because Rashford.
I was thinking he was going to reply.
It's because Rashford doesn't screen correctly. Matthew Bassett has got it. Who's meant to be pressing Romero? Rashford.
There you go.
Like, a lot of it is on Rashford.
Big T saying here, Eriksen was not in the title. Give us Bruno and Rashford. So obviously in the title it said about Bruno and Rashford.
That was Bruno and Rashford. That's completely on those two.
Yeah. But we could have mentioned Kobe as well, like you just said. DK Wilson.
Kobe did everything okay.
But he hasn't got the running power.
But that's on the manager, not on Kobe. What do you want him to do? Like an athletics program, like as Eriksen's pressing? What are you talking about?
DK Wilson saying here, Eriksen forced Kobe to cover his man, putting Manu out of position. That's DK Wilson. Damien saying here, the midfield too attack-minded. Big T saying, which is ironic. Matthew Bassett saying, in this scenario, what player should start the press?
It depends if the ball goes left or right, Matthew. So if the ball goes to the left, which would have been Van der Ven, that's Rasmus Højlund's side. And Rasmus has to get out to that man, and Rashford has to get on the keeper. Because it started from the left, it's Rashford, and I don't want to say he's being lazy, but he's being dopey. When you watch it back, Romero has more time than you would believe to play that ball. Like, it is, if I had to give the order of people that are responsible for that goal, it's Rashford, Bruno, Ten Hag. In that order, because Ten Hag is this is a common problem he has. He asks players to do things they're not physically capable of, like Casemiro and Kobe. Like Eriksen does nothing wrong there. Absolutely nothing wrong. He does what's expected. This is assuming it's communicated, but judging from the starting positions, what is Rashford doing there if he's not in a press? Like, otherwise just drop into a mid block. So it's complete. It's completely done.
And what? This is late in the game, is it?
No.
When was this goal scored? Oh, this is
like the 50th minute or something. This is like 46th minute.
50 seconds into the second half.
Well, the reason they had a goal kick is that we actually did a relatively good press in their half, and then Rashford got the ball and he tried to beat Porro. And just ran it down the middle.
I recall,
ran it straight out. It was awful attacking play, which is fine as long as you do the defender.
Matthew Bassett saying, okay, that we've done that one. We need Wan-Bissaka that side for this one, says Big T.
Just wait.
JR saying here, how many times have people scored this goal this season?
It's not just that, JR, right? Spurs have scored the most goals or have created the most chances after Manchester City from cutbacks. It's not a surprise. Like Messi scoring, beating Ferdinand in the air for a header was a surprise. This wasn't a surprise. And Ten Hag knew that going into the game, and yet he still asked Kobe and Eriksen to do a man-to-man press with Eriksen jumping.
JR saying here, how many times have people scored that goal this season? Bath time question. Did Eriksen's move force Kobe to choose one of two players to defend? He chose Bentancur because it was the closest man open, which left Skip open to him. The ball was played to Skip, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. If you're being critical, Kobe is definitely on Bentancur. Definitely. Garnacho, who is a puppy, essentially, in football terms, like he's greener than a salad. He's on two men. He's on Skip and Dougie. And Dougie, they're in duels all match, and it was fairly even in terms of who won. But to put Garnacho on those two it's not Eriksen that forces that. Eriksen isn't doing this by accident. You should first of all, you should be annoyed with Rashford because Rashford's the guy on the pitch that can affect the play. And then secondly, you should be annoyed with Erik Ten Hag because he's asking people to do things they can't do.
Okay. Del Boy in the house. How you doing? Arsenal fan, Del Boy, friend of the channel as well. Hope you're doing well, bro. Big T saying here, why have we got 4 marking 2 in front of goal?
Because earlier on we talked about ball space or player. We're in a zonal system, but unfortunately, Bruno and to a degree Kobe are not marking the correct zones.
Okay. Just a bit off topic, but 10 likes.
Cheers,
Thank you. We always appreciate you. Reads their bet saying, I think Skip's positioning and movement made the goal. We've got Bilal saying McTominay would fall running.
Bilal, right, you'll know. For God's sake, right. Do you know what, right? What is a more unpopular take? McTominay is actually very good at football and our best player tactically and in terms of his discipline, or Ralph Ragnick is football's biggest con man. Because to be honest, right, everyone asks me why I love McTominay so much, and it's because I learned quite a lot about the game from watching McTominay. Like he has issues with like receiving the ball. Sometimes he puts too much on a pass and things like that. But he rarely makes an incorrect decision on the pitch, and he helps everyone else be better. But the thing is, right, is all the people that influence you to say, what does McTominay do? He's useless. He's a ghost. Every manager has picked him. Jose Mourinho gave him his player of the season. There is a reason why everyone loves McTominay. And when you talk about being outrun by the ref, like Bayern away, McTominay is actually in a very good position because he's on a diagonal, something that people used to have a go at Pogba for as well. If you all run back in a straight line, all you're giving up too much space, and you're going to get hemmed in. There are reasons why players do stuff. I'm not having a go at you at all, Steph. Like, you're obviously entitled to your opinion, but I'm getting very annoyed that I have to sort of like defend McTominay, as it were, when actually he's very, very good at football, and people criticizing him have literally zero understanding of the game because, you know, when was the last time that they were out on a pitch? They don't even know what linseed oil smells like. Anyway, polemic, my homily over.
We deserve better, saying Garnacho couldn't Garnacho have done more? So we did touch on
not really. I mean, he does enough. It's like if Garnacho does more, it doesn't really sort of affect the outcome. The players that need to do more are Rashford, Bruno, and Kobe. Like, you know, you're looking for a superhuman to do more. And if that is what you're saying, like, could you, like, is he able to sort of cover more stuff than that? It's kind of like, you're kind of like in the Ten Hag side of things, where you're not asking people to be better in their head. You're asking them to be better in their body.
Stephanie Griffith saying here, Ten Hag at fault for continuing to pick Rashi and Bruno, 100%. She's saying that.
Yes.
DK Wilson saying, I get the anger at Rashford, but if Eriksen doesn't leave Skip, the pass must go to Bentancur. A pass there allows more United players to regroup, even for Rashford to cover a man.
No, not for me.
No.
But maybe you wrote that like before we did other stuff.
Okay. Big T saying here, other than the goals, Rashford was poor all game. Bilal saying here, Ralph is a teacher, not a manager. Zoe saying here, straight swap, Fred for McTominay. We sold the wrong one. It caused an unbalance in midfield.
Fair enough, Zoe, but no.
Big T saying here, there's a reason McTominay gets into goal-scoring positions when other players are not. He has the vision.
Do you think Big T likes McTominay more than I do?
Maybe he's getting there. I never liked McTominay for the same reason you just said there. I just felt he technically couldn't get the ball at his feet, couldn't really pop it around. But I've been swung. My head's been turned for what he does, follow instructions, and his physicality and his running power as well. It's so important. We deserve better in here. Didn't Mourinho give McTominay Player of the Year? Oh, you just said that, yeah. In part to slap down Pogba. Okay, that's why.
I don't know. Do you think? I wouldn't put it past Mourinho to come up with a skid. All right, Bilal, I'm not. Look, everyone's entitled to their opinions and stuff like that. It's just.
But hold on. At least you're justifying. You're giving your reasoning for your opinion on a player.
That's kind of why is that you have a situation where social media thinks that McTominay is terrible, and like I've heard about him like eating up Højlund's space. And, you know, for our first goal, Højlund runs into Rashford. Like, what I think you have to do is if you don't understand something, you've got to work hard to understand it. And I think a lot of times that, like, content creators and other people on YouTube, I think they're cheating a lot of the time. But you kind of got to work out what a player is doing.
That's
and this
so
is
important.
coming.
Yeah.
This is coming from someone that hates Michael Carrick.
Yeah, I heard today a lot of accusations because everyone's upset about the game, and they're saying, "Oh, we're SHIT. We don't know what we're doing. We don't have no system. certain players calling out players SHIT, and there's no. And I just get a bit boring after a while. I'm like, well, what do you mean? Explain what's going wrong, and then it's just silence. It's mute. This is me on like talking to my friends or social media and our WhatsApp groups, everything, and they're saying all this stuff and laughing and saying, "Well, explain then. Just give me a reason, and if you can justify it, then I can go with it or not." But just saying someone is SHIT or it's just not working or the manager's SHIT, there's got to be more than that. And this is why I love this show. This is why I loved.
I'll tell you what, right? I'll give you a criticism about McTominay.
Yeah.
And it's this one here. I don't see this from Scott jumping. Like McTominay is a right-sided midfielder, so you want to think like Jordan Henderson is a good example. Yeah. He shouldn't actually be on the ball very much. He should be making runs in behind and all this sort of stuff. But McTominay should be leading the press, and I don't know if there are other factors, because we're going to get on to someone jump in a second, but McTominay doesn't jump. And sometimes he overcommits. Well, basically all the time. He overcommits on one-to-one duels. So if you want to give me that as a reason not to like him, then that's fair enough. There are obviously better players than him. But make no mistake that McTominay is extremely good at what he does.
Okay. DK was saying here, for my comment above bath time, please start the video again. Look where Skip is with Kobe and where Ericsson is and where he moves to. Going back to the animation.
Yeah.
Big up to Toowoomba. They said big up, and I say big up. Grace Jones in the picture. License to kill. Big T saying here, if you ask Fergie to keep only one player out of the team, he would keep McTominay. So I'll read that again. If you ask Fergie to keep only one player out of this team, he would keep McTominay out. What was he saying?
So if you asked him to pick a player, he'd pick McTominay.
Okay, that was saying. I think I read that wrong. We deserve better saying here. I mean, once the ball started to move into our third, Garnacho became stagnant.
Look, we'd said better. I can't lie. I can't see all the players on the pitch. I've guessed where Garnacho is. And the thing is that he's on his man. He doesn't do it. He doesn't do anything wrong. I understand, but if Garnacho breaks himself to get back in that position, we get pinned in and we can't get out. And I know that sounds silly because we're defending and stuff like that, but we also want to be in a position where we can attack, or we just have 11 men in the box like Huddersfield or something. So I understand the point that you're making, but it's not like he's when you look at like a kind of cascade of mistakes, Garnacho doesn't come into it.
Okay. Zoe Media House saying here, the only player I've ever called SHIT is Bruno, and my views are from years of observation. And yeah, you do call this out a lot. You're consistent with that, Zoe. And I must admit, sometimes I do agree with you.
Would you like to see a mistake from Bruno?
Yeah. I think.
All right.
I think. Well, just the second goal, we've seen that he failed to sort of get into that diamond defense position to put the cut back.
All right. I'm going to share my screen. Should be up.
Just before you go, I'll just read out the remaining comments.
Sure.
Because I think he can't effing pass the ball. Talking about McTominay, that's from Bilal. They are saying here, Bentancur was running straight past Ericsson all day after McTominay put the reducers on Bentancur. He couldn't go through the centre afterwards. So once McTominay came on, Bentancur couldn't do that same sort of run effectively. He's saying there. Big T saying here, Bruno hits the ball 40 yards and tells teammates to go on, get the end of it. De Bruyne spots players running and puts it on the plate for them. And roll the tape, says we deserve better. Yeah, we want to know what about Bruno.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
About Bruno.
Just pressing buttons in it. Right, am I up?
Yep. Enlarge.
Right. Do you enlarge? You see that Højbjerg has the ball?
Yep.
Okay. Talk us through this, Amondo. First time seeing it.
So Højbjerg plays it into Skip, his midfield partner. He plays it back again, and he makes a pass to Romero, makes a move, and plays it square pass through centre-backs to Van der Beek. He plays it wide to Werner. He drives forward down the left, plays it inside to Richarlison, who switches to play into Bentancur. It goes wide to Johnson, back post, cross, and it's gone to Werner, and luckily Evans is there to divert the ball out of play. Once again, Højbjerg plays it to Romero, who plays a square pass to his centre-back partner, who plays it out with his left foot to Werner. Werner drives forward, bit of movement ahead of him, plays it into Richarlison, who plays a ball around the corner to Bentancur, who plays it wide for Johnson, who's got whips in across to the back post, and Werner is there to beat Dalot, who didn't really scan him and see him coming.
All right. Do you want to see it again, or do you want to go through it?
Let's do it once more, but just I'm going to keep quiet and let people watch it and see what you guys can see. It's slowed up. Oh. I love seeing the movement in these things. So Werner's continued his run.
Happy?
Yep.
All right. This, Mr. Juma, is a trap. Watch Bruno.
Where's okay, number 10?
So Bruno is here. This isn't a great defensive shape, to be honest. Like if I take it back a little bit, out of position, I don't know. I have no idea what these two are doing out here. Kobe is in a fine position, but we should really be in a 4-1-4-1 mid-block. So Alejandro should be on the same line as Bruno, Rasmus. I mean, like, look, the job of the number 9 is stop the ball going to the pivot, which is Højbjerg. So we're not in a great shape, but we can recover. Not the end of the world. Now, we're in a much better shape here. Okay. But Rasmus hasn't put enough pressure on Højlund. Bruno should be on Skip. Easy ball out to Romeo. And this is the trap. What is that?
Sideways pass between centre-backs.
Mm-hmm. Ball goes out. Bruno charges. Now, if what should be happening is Rasmus should be getting there. Rashford onto Romeo. Eriksen onto Højbjerg. These two can stick, and maybe Garnacho can get out to Werner, but these three need to communicate. Like Dalot, Kobe, and Alejandro need to communicate what's happening. And to be honest, when the ball is played across here, this is awful from Bruno. This is like, do you see that distance?
Yeah.
It's so important as a football player to know your distances. Bruno doesn't know his distance. He's in a poor position. He runs out. Werner knows. He's a good player, Werner. He knows. Van der Ven does Bruno with a dummy. Okay? And it's not difficult. So yeah. When the ball's here, let's take Rashford out, let's take Rasmus out. We're equal. Basically, all these players here are equal. And this isn't bad. We have to drop back and we have to keep the ball out wide.
Right.
We drop back. We keep the ball out wide. But because Bruno's run, there's a pocket here.
Mm-hmm.
Richarlison realizes that, and he does what Rasmus Højlund cannot do. which is drop into it and receive. Drops into it and receives. Bentancur is coming on the blind side. Varane should tell Eriksen here, right? He doesn't. Switches it across. Now, this is an attacking unit, Johnson and Bentancur. But a 2v1, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think everyone knows I'm not a huge fan of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Once again, he's done well here because he doesn't bite. Like, if Wan-Bissaka just runs towards that ball, easy ball through. By the way, you've gone Dalek. So here, are you still here, Amondi? Okay. So here we got Johnson, and now we've got to defend we've got to position ourselves for a cross. Bruno, because of his stupid run, is out of position.
How do I sound?
You sound beautiful to me.
Thank you.
Now, this isn't a bad setup, except Bruno needs to be there. And that makes Eriksen's job a lot easier as the cross comes across. Not too bad. Diamond shape.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Evans could be a little bit further behind, but Eriksen, he hasn't been sleeping because he's reacted well, but he just doesn't have the physical power to it. But that worries me to Bentancur. This worries me here. Like these two areas worry me because they've almost been cultivated by Spurs. And then Werner knocks it across and Evans reacts. And this is what led to the series of corners from which they eventually scored from. And it all comes back to this absolute idiocy from Bruno Fernandes. This is like, I accuse players of cheating and hiding all the time. This is cheating. That is cheating because the distance is too much. Bruno's a professional football player. He knows his distances. He knows that Van de Ven is out wide. He knows Werner, or he should know these things. He knows Werner should go out there, and he knows that Skip is pinning Kobe and Udogie is pinning Alejandro. Like, he knows that Eriksen can't get there. He should know that Rasmus can't get there. He's fast, but he's not that fast. He knows that Rashford isn't going to get on Romeo. Like, look at that. It's so stupid. I'm like, look, I like Bruno. He's one of our most creative players, and he puts the work in. But this is the same as when, like, Louis, my dog, chases a car. Like, what's he going to do if he catches it?
But all right, just hold it. But you going back to the pointers earlier, you said the good time to press is when ball's played directly straight back or when it's passed between the centre backs.
Yeah. What did I also say?
But then other players need to go as well, jump.
Well, the two things is communication, and also everyone knows this, so it's a trap. I think that this is a trap. I think that they know that Bruno can't resist making that run. And then look, like we're not in a terrible shape here, but Dalot, Alejandro, someone's got to go out to him and keep him there. And Kobe does really well. Like Kobe cuts that pass inside. So Kobe is doing his job. Bruno should actually be here to stop the pass to Van de Ven. And Rasmus should be here to stop that ball there. Yeah. But whatever. And The problem is the space here, because as Kobe goes to sort of use his cover shadow to stop that, Eriksen would love to get into this position here. But Rashford, as I'm going to show you in the next clip, is too preoccupied with Porro, and he doesn't realise that he needs to narrow the pitch. So Rashford should be looking to get on Bentancur, and Eriksen should be looking to get on Skip to protect the centre of the pitch. They don't do it, and then this here is the result. This is what happens: is that space, and I know that like the Tottenham players aren't great, like Richarlison, Werner, like they're good players, but they're not elite players. But Richarlison receives the ball with his back to goal. Evans is putting the correct amount of pressure on him. Varane is kind of sweeping. Varane's got a difficult decision because based on these two, he's got to position himself somewhere. And I think he positions himself fine. But he's got to tell Eriksen, oi, you, blindside. Like what's your shout, Omondi, as a centre-back? Like what language do you use to talk to Eriksen?
360 or 360 or man behind you.
Shoulder is the shout we used to use. And to be fair, right, I've said this before, but if you want to improve as a football player, everyone talks about scanning. When you see where a pass is going, scan. So when the ball is played in there by Werner, as that ball is played, Eriksen should check his shoulder and look and look at that area there very quickly. He doesn't, so he doesn't know Bentancur's there. And to be honest, bit harsh, but Rashford can call it as well. And then Wan-Bissaka does well, the defense does well. Brilliant from Kobe, getting into the right area. Eriksen's recovered. I'm not quite sure what Varane's doing, to be honest, but I mean, he's not madly exposed. But I would much prefer Eriksen to be here and Varane to be here. Like, they switch places. Yeah. But also, this isn't great. This isn't great. Like, Bruno and Alejandro against Udogie and Bentancur. And the thing is, if Skip's poor here, to be perfectly honest, because with here, this is a 2v3.
Yeah.
Right? Skip and Van der Ven, if they're better players, or Skip can get in here.
Right.
Or he can get in here. Like, what he really should be doing, if I was Skip, I would shout my mouth off to get Bruno's attention and pull Bruno just a little bit out of position. Like, I'd make that run, pull Bruno out of position, and then Bentancur is in an ocean. Like, really top players would kill us in this position. But you can see here we got a diamond, which is good. Dalot, not his fault. Like, he's doing what he's been coached to do. And Evans, this is experience. He peels off as that header comes in, because he knows that if the ball goes that side, if the ball goes near post and Werner scores, Anana should be stopping that. Yeah. But he's got Richarlison and the back post. And what's brilliant about this is that we often talk about how strikers should read a situation. That could come off the post and come out to Richarlison. But Evans, I'm really impressed with. He gets there. But it all comes from the fact that Bruno can't read this situation correctly. Look at that, Rasmus, slow to get out to the 6. Like, if this is a top team, Bruno's already moving, Kobe's already moving, Rashford's already moving, Ericsson is telling these guys, look after these two, go 1v1, and he's going.
This is top drawer considering, their game was only yesterday, but it's clicking. It's like eureka moment in my head. I can see it now and understand it a lot better.
All right, I'll play it one or two more times, then we'll address the comments and we'll see how we're doing.
Just by the way, I do think Dallo shouldn't have let that header. I mean, you got to scan. You're talking about scanning, but he should be scanning to see watch his ball watching. I remember this specifically yesterday, and I thought he was just facing the ball, not unaware where Werner was.
Dalot, in my opinion, is a bit like McTominay. Does what he's told, and that's not a bad position. It's the least dangerous position. Maybe you're right, and maybe like you'll see that there's a pause in the animation because I don't know where he is because of the cameras and stuff. But Dalot gets into a situation that any good academy boy gets into, and this kind of goes back to like there's improvisation in attack, but there's also improvisation in defense. All right. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see more, or can I just pause it a second?
Let's pause it. Let's go through a few comments here because there's a few coming through.
All right.
Where are we? Okay.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, guys. I mean, this is great stuff. You must admit, those of you who stuck around, I hope you're getting it. I am definitely. I was just to sort of take it all in and to think about it. But the way Bath Time explaining it, it makes it a lot easier. So any questions you guys have about it, because this is only yesterday, and we have to ask ourselves, why haven't we beaten Spurs? What is the real issue here? What is it, the manager? Is it certain players? And you can make up your own mind after seeing some sort of evidence like this. And you won't tend to see this elsewhere. I haven't seen this elsewhere. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of the people I know are just saying, this is shit, rubbish, we ain't got no style of play, whatever. But I think there is a style of play, but some people just can't perform the job adequately, as you're showing here, whether it's Bruno on this one.
Sorry about that. I had to.
That's all right.
I was being told that I needed to take the bins out, which I'm going to do.
Okay, that can wait. We got we deserve better saying Bruno slow on Van der Ven and leaving space. Garnacho not on Werner either. That's from We Deserve Better. Again, not rough from Garnacho or Werner. We deserve better.
All right. Conquers of Darius the Great is on my TV. Oh, Jesus. Do you know that Andrew once had a go at me about Darius II, son of Xerxes, not being able to invade Greece properly? Right. If you go back to We Deserve Better in his comments, I don't know when they were made, and maybe you've changed your mind, but Garnacho shouldn't be on Werner at that position. We're playing in a block. It's an open play, and we're blocking the centre of the pitch. You want to allow the wide areas, the least dangerous areas in football, and we're not using a man-to-man system. We're using a zonal block, and a block is to block the centre of the pitch, and then we'll deal with the crosses. So it's not on Garnacho there, and Bruno isn't slow on Van der Ven. Bruno's just an idiot.
Okay, Big T's saying here, did Bruno show us that pressing is wrong and keeping his shape is better? Good question.
In that instance, yes. Bruno got absolutely done.
Who's the worst presser in the squad?
Rashford and Bruno.
You said Bruno, yeah?
Rashford and Bruno.
Rashford, he don't do it. Well, Big T answered that, so he's on the page. DK Wilson saying, Bath Time, what is the correct defensive response to the first pass?
Keep the ball out wide, protect the centre of the pitch.
Okay. Big T, Bath Time, what would you swap Bruno's creativity for a player who knows when and how to press correctly?
100% I would.
The manager's seen players getting it wrong and never made changes, says Big T as well. So those are the comments. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, we got a decision to make here because we've done 2 clips and I've got 3. And we've gone for we've gone for about 90 minutes, which is a film. So it's probably best to stop here unless people want to continue.
DK was saying, thanks, Bathtime. Bruno seems incredibly undisciplined with the ball as well as defending. Wonder if Ten Hag will bench him for Mount. Good shout, maybe. Good shout. Who knows? I think Bruno's a top player. He does a lot for us. But when I've seen things like this, it's getting highlighted. Every time we do the eye test, his name comes up a lot for lacking and slacking. Two things that shouldn't be happening. And we don't have any luxury players in the team. Clearly not, because one player, not doing the work really affects us, as we've seen these great animations. I vote for third animation.
All right.
I think we should go.
Let me just look at my notes.
What do you guys think? Let's do it there. While we're here, let's just get this done.
Spurs play through us. Terrible defensive work. United players played through. Which one do you want?
Spurs play through us.
Okay.
We deserve better. We'll check it out later. We deserve better. Thanks for tuning in, man.
So I think this is the right one. I'll just play it. Let's see what happens.
Can you
ready?
Enlarge? Okay. So goalkeeper's got it for Spurs. Plays it to Romero. He's got time again. He gets up to the halfway line on his own. Plays it to Johnson on the right wing. He's closed down. He plays down the line for Richarlison. He gets there first. Evan comes across and takes it out of play. Evan comes all the way over to the left back position to get that ball. Romero's got time and space to run to the halfway line, unchallenged almost. And Richarlison works the channels, and Evans comes across from his centre back position.
All right. To do this quickly, people say that there are no tactical changes. Bruno swapped with Rashford here. I suspect it's because Rashford isn't doing the work up front correctly enough. We're in a fine structure as this starts. We've got Kobe between the lines to pick up Bentancur. Everyone's picked up. What I'd expect to see here is Rashford to get on to Romero, Aaron Wan-Bissaka to get on to Porro, and Varane to get on to Johnson. Right, aggressive, but that's what I would expect because we're looking for a trap here. Ball gets played out, and then it gets played back. Rasmus, a little bit asleep. Bruno, incredibly asleep. Bruno's on Højbjerg, right? This is fine because you don't want to allow players to play through the pivot, but he's left the space out here, and Rashford is in a 2v1. This could be a plan. I'm not sure. Romero does everyone because he looks to come inside and then goes outside. Bruno falls for it. Bruno doesn't have the recovery pace, but here...
I remember this.
This is ridiculous, OMONDI. It's 5 versus 3. Absolutely ridiculous. We'll do this one quickly. This I saw. Rashford doesn't move at all. Like, Eriksen comes across to help. Rashford looking at Porro. This ball gets... This is so stupid. Look at the men we've got. 4 versus 3. Like, let's include Rashford in it. Like, there's space out here. Richarlison should never get anywhere near that ball. Yeah. And this is so dangerous. From Werner. Yeah. Skip. Bentancur can go either side. This is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful football. And I'm going to contrast it with a Spurs press. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
So
you ready?
Varane at centre back plays it back to the goalkeeper, Anana. and he plays it wide to Garnacho, who comes back and tries to play it back to the keeper. And he's under a lot of pressure. Garnacho plays it down the line gets munched almost. Dalot, and we give the ball away in a dangerous area there. So Spurs have made the pitch narrow. They've gone over. It's good pressing. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Benkentor, yeah. See, narrow. This is, what did you say about the touchline again?
Best defender in the world ever.
Proven once again.
Okay.
This is great stuff.
We've had a throw in. We're okay, right? This isn't too bad, like this setup here, because Alejandro is the free man. I would prefer him to be here, but not the worst thing in the world. That there is a square pass, essentially. Richarlison is going to go on to Onana. Like, Skip is going to get on to Evans. Werner's got two choices here, and everyone else is picked up. So the three men are Varane and Alejandro. Good from Onana. He finds Alejandro. If that pass is slipped in, it's a different story. But Udogie applies the correct amount of pressure, and Werner recovers to stop the pass inside.
I remember this. He should have played his pass with his left foot. He played with his right. Yeah.
And Richarlison is on that goalkeeper. So Alejandro takes a touch. He's not able to do it.
Okay.
And he gets forced back because Richarlison is on the goalkeeper. Like, Garnacho thinks that the safe ball is back home, but he can't play it. So he just runs with the ball. Ideally, you want movements in here and maybe in behind to sort of generate a bit of space for Alejandro to do something. He plays a risky ball to Onana. Onana plays a risky ball to Alejandro. And now,
yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This includes Højbjerg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're in a similar position to the last clip where we had a numerical overload. Spurs have narrowed the pitch. They've quartered it, basically, because Alejandro Garnacho can't play that pass, and he can't play that pass. And the touchline, touchline has got him. Plays it to Dalot. Dalot passes it. Werner gets it. And because they have more in this area, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just add Højbjerg as to make the thing. He passes it into Richarlison. Richarlison takes a poor touch, and it's eventually cleared for a throw-in. But this is the difference between the presses.
Massive difference.
Massive difference. And I'll just show one more. And this, right, I just found this very funny. Rashford on Porro. Right, watch this, OMONDI. Commentary.
Oh, sorry, go back. I was sleeping. Bit like Bruno. All right, so Benkentor's got the ball on the right, plays it into Porro. Rashford comes across, doesn't get there in time. Werner cross gets over to Werner, comes in, and it's gone out for a goal kick or corner or something there. So, Rashford's sleeping.
All right, we'll go through it extremely quickly. But, okay. So once again, Bruno and Rashford have changed places, or Rashford is overly concerned with Porro. 2 versus 4. You have to give up a bit of ground here.
Yeah.
Ball goes out to Bentancur. Porro has run that channel, and to his credit, Rashford has filled in. Okay, not It's odd play, but it's actually quite good play. But when the ball gets played in, Jesus Christ, it's the same thing again. Like, defend the space in front of you and the space behind you. Neither are defended. Everyone's asleep. It's not just Rashford. It's bloody everyone. A poor ball in from Porro. Miscontrol from Werner. Skip running the channel. Here, I genuinely don't know what you do in this situation. I don't know if Kobe passes Udogie off to Evans. Do you know what I mean? Like, Bentancur's being annoying in a half space. Johnson is here. And then check this out. Rashford and Varane at the back post. What is Aaron Wan-Bissaka doing? Like, ridiculous. And also, look at the space in between the lines is too much. We don't have the correct structure.
Is it a case that remember, like Man City last year, when there's so much movement from the players that it ended up with Dalot and McTominay switching and things? So do you have to give credit to the rotation for players here?
No, you don't, because this is easy, right? First of all, like that triangle there is enough to deal with whatever Højbjerg and whatever Bruno and Rasmus are doing. We always talk about, I always talk about behind and between. There's no one really behind and between. There's no real danger here. Like, if Werner moves in there and Skip moves across there, and then maybe Richarlison stretches us a little bit, then yeah, okay, they've got men in between the lines. There's nothing dangerous here. Porro makes his run. And the reason Porro makes his run is because the decision of the manager to swap Rashford and Bruno around. Because Rashford wasn't working hard enough. I understand it. But Porro drags Rashford out. Eriksen should be quicker at getting out here. But the thing is that, like, what is Eriksen doing? There's no one here. So gets played out. Eriksen's come out, right? This is good. Okay. Eriksen and Rasmus are screening that pass there and that pass there. Like, Aaron Wan-Bissaka should have control of that situation. Rashford's let his man get a little bit too far. But that ball, I mean, we talk about the channel. This is the channel here. Like, Varane should step across and allow Rashford to get out and just tell Rashford to bugger off and go. For me, he doesn't. And then look at these naughty bastards here.
Yeah.
Like, I know we deserve better. I was talking about Garnacho here, but like, Garnacho's got to watch Udogie. Has got to watch Udogie better. Bruno should be here to allow Alejandro and Kobe to make a decision. The ball gets played across, better quality, and we lose. And I mean, you can see that that's the channel. That's far too wide. Varane is just concerned about Richarlison. Ball gets played through, and here, I hate this. We're not in the correct structure.
Yeah.
There's far too much space around that penalty spot. I have literally no idea what Aaron Wan-Bissaka is doing here. And I've no idea what Rashford is doing here. I've no idea why Bruno isn't here. And, like, Garnacho, I'm also not sure about. He should be getting into that space there. Like, absolutely terrible. And we're lucky that, like, Dalot wins his duel with Werner. Like, this is not top coaching. These are not top players. This is dreadful, OMONDI. And we're lucky.
Wow. So the 2-2 result is a good result in hindsight of all these bad players and bad coaching.
Look, if I was Spurs, I'd be livid because they didn't create nearly enough like proper chances. Like, and also the other thing is if you go back to, do you remember we were talking about leaving a space open?
Yeah.
That space is open again. Good manager, Ange. And Kobe does okay here, because he goes with Skip. Like Kobe's really good at defensive situations, but he isn't physically good enough to be in these situations. He's not very good in the air, and he doesn't have a big stride. Like, so he can't eat up the ground.
Yeah.
And teams are going, and when we get back from the winter break, teams are going to target Kobe Manu, because I would. He doesn't have the running power. He doesn't have the aerial power. But I'm going to play it one more time, and then I'm going to stop it. I'm going to do final comments, and then Omondi is going to read me a bedtime story.
With a happy ending.
Well,
this is all doom and gloom. This is like a horror movie, what you're showing us right now.
All right, talk to me.
Let's go to some comments quickly and just wrap this up, guys. Thanks again for your comments. I'm just trying to catch up. Okay, yeah, I was here. Big up, Jeff. Jeff's in the house. How you doing, Jeff? Hope you're feeling better. Big up, Big Brains, Bath Time with Vaughan. You are a zombie's dream with a big brain.
Bro, you don't know about my brain. Like, you wouldn't be saying that if you knew the whole story.
DK wants to say, am I correct in thinking many of these problems appear to be discipline and effort issues?
Yeah, probably.
Jeff is saying here, we don't defend worth a flip. Any manager will fail with this group, especially if it's true the players refuse to follow instructions. Guess we'll find out with a new regime. Big T saying here, poor coaching from the manager. He's not getting the message across. Rajat saying, get crap foot. Player words there. Out for 15 million. Talking about Rashford. Rajat saying here, he leave the left back, whoever is there, with a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1 situation 90% of the time. That's wrong for Rajat.
I know Rajat missed the beginning of the show, but there are no attackers or defenders in football. You defend and you attack as a unit. So if it's like, who has left him there? Yeah, whoever is there with the 2v1, it's normally not their fault. It's who's left them there.
Jeff responded to DK saying, yeah, for sure, DK, they need to work like landscapers in gated communities, and they work like city workers at the pub instead of work. Nice analogy there. Big Jeff's also saying here, Big T, these players have blown off instructions from the last 3 managers. Won't matter who you bring in. Drop the regimentation and let players express themselves, I say. So from Big T. Big T again saying, Jeff, these players did better than this for the manager last season. He has lost them. It's on him. So it's on the manager. Big up to the panel. Big up to you, Rajat. Rajat saying here, only wingers to keep our Ahmad Ganacho and Anthony maybe with Fringfrom will help. Says it's January, so he's talking transfers. Big T saying here, City are often boring to watch. I would not enjoy being a City fan. That's from Big T.
Do you think they're boring?
No, I think it's fantastic. It's like,
likewise.
Yeah, I was talking to a kid I'm sort of coaching at the moment, boxing, and he likes knockouts. He thinks that's exciting, and I'm saying, nah, you watch a real fight with real technical nous like Floyd Mayweather or someone like that.
Judging the differences.
That's technically, if you're a nerd in boxing, you love it. You love these fights. You can see so much going on. Anyway, that's a different sport. Jeff saying here, Fringfrom is a winger, not a fullback. Rajat. So if we buy him as a right wing, that would something.
No, Jeff's right there. Fringpong's is about width. Like, don't worry about fullback and things like that. Rebel always gets like wing back and fullback. He thinks they're the same thing. Yeah. But like Fringpong is a wing back because he occupies the wide areas, and that would mean that Anthony, etc., would be inside forwards. Like winger, it's always about width.
Rajat saying here how Man City known to play very good, attractive football. And a couple more here. DK Wilson saying Ten Hag literally doesn't seem to have the players to do what he wants. Rashford and Bruno should be leaders. Instead, they lead in being lazy, undisciplined. And with Kobe, perhaps he's a bit worn. Rajat saying he's versatile, can play. Talking about Fring Fong again. And Mondi, did you not enjoy Mike Tyson? Yeah, Mike Tyson was very good. But like, if you're teaching someone boxing, it's right. Explosive knockouts. Mike Tyson was technically good, better than
the peekaboo to get it to close the distance is incredible.
And when he was with Rooney training him, he had combinations and movement to get inside the jab. When he neglected that, he wasn't the fighter he was. So technically, science is the most important thing. Football is an art form, boxing is an art form, and like if you watch Ronnie O'Sullivan last night or
Sweet Science
Masters, he is a genius as well. And people enjoy that because you're seeing a master at work there, you know, and that's what we like to see. So nothing's boring about nerdy stuff. This is not boring to me. Going to tactics, I'm just overexcited. My eyes are wide open.
Well, if you want to apply football to boxing, one thing that I always really liked about Mike Tyson is that, like, I think regular viewers will know that, like, in the summer, to save my knees from running on hard ground because I hate running on a treadmill. I do a lot of technical boxing. So I don't have and I think King Dino's a boxer, and shout out to him because I don't have the heart to be a boxer. I don't like being hurt. Like, they're mental, them boxers. Like, but with Tyson, do you know what? I've got both my fists up in one day. With Tyson, he used to do a double punch low. He used to hit the ribs twice, and then he'd go upstairs. And that's not too dissimilar from faking a pressing trap, where
it was right uppercut to the body, right uppercut to the head. That was a combination.
That's basically what City
do.
do.
Right body punch, right uppercut to the head.
Yeah, he bring you to one side, so you're defending one area, and then spring it to the other and get you. Like, so for all the boxing fans, there's a mixed analogy for you.
I was on the way home. I was driving home, and I was thinking to myself, who's the greatest sportsman? Seeing what Ronnie's doing and mastering the sport, even though he doesn't think he's mastered it, but he's the closest thing to perfection at snooker that we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching snooker. I love snooker. I've been watching it for a long, long time. But he's the closest to perfection I've seen. And then I look at other sports and saying, who else comes close to reaching those sort of heights of mastering it? And whether it's a manager of mastering the systems or whatever, there's not many people out there you can say for each individual sport who are the greatest. And the greatest means actually mastering your sport. Be no longer your student or learning all the time. You've mastered it. You're a black belt don at your sport. And
there's obviously Ali. Yeah.
Well, he had flaws.
Yeah. But the other one that no one ever talks about, and I doubt anyone will know his name, is Phil Dipperdies.
Who's he?
He was the guy that ran from Athens to Marathon and died delivering a message. And that is why the marathon is that amount of time. And he gave everything for the sport. Yeah. And so Phil Dipperdies is like, that's not how you pronounce it, Phil Dipperdies. But like, I've always got great respect for him because not many people die doing their sport. Do you know what I mean? So to do that, to keep going, to save everyone around you, like all of that on you, and keep running. My man, big up Phil and the rest of the Dipperdies.
He would put some of these Amazon delivery guys to shame, I'm sure. Tiger Woods in golf. Oh, this is a good one. This is where I wanted to go with this. But Tiger Woods in golf, I'd agree with him there. That's a good one. Federer in tennis, all the strokes I reckon Federer had. Just that Djokovic has surpassed him now with Grand Slams. Joe Montana, I don't know much about US football, but I'll take you on that. And Kobe in hoops, I don't know. I never felt Kobe was. I thought Kobe was like an imitation of Jordan. Didn't think he was as good as Jordan either. But I don't know. You probably know more than me about American sports. And Big T saying if he died bath time, he never mastered his sport.
Yeah, good point. But I mean, all right, Roger Bannister.
4-minute mile. But then, did you know a few weeks later, other guys broke his records?
Yeah, Bandora.
Barrier.
Role models. He showed what was possible, and they went and did it.
Exactly. So yeah, each sport has someone out there who's come close to perfection, and this is the thing with football: getting 11 guys becoming close to perfection. What's the best team, considering what we've gone through today with sport, with the Man United, and where we're going wrong, and how to get things right, and what it's going to take? We seem a mile away from perfection. But what team have you watched where you thought this is close to perfection, where you get a team on board with the manager and playing a brand of football which is mastering the game and mastering others?
Unfortunately, Manchester City. Unfortunately, Liverpool under Klopp a couple of years ago.
Right.
I once played a friendly against the Korean Olympic team, and that was an experience. Like they knew exactly what they were doing, and I remember like I was in midfield, like, and I was marking this little Korean, and I got my shoulder on top of him, and I've never jumped so high. He jumped as well, and he took me up, and I was like looking around like Google Earth at everything that was going on. I got the level of physicality and their movement and stuff like that. And the thing is, we beat them by just kicking them, like by just smacking them all over. They didn't, you know, it's probably similar to New Zealand where you're playing against like the Maoris or something, and they're all big and strong, but they're just not used to getting arsed. And things like, get using your bum in and things like that. It was crazy. But we're drawing to a close, OMONDI. I'm flagging. But I'd also like to give a big shout out to the Secret Watchers. I thought last week that none of you had watched, but I saw some things that you said on your channel, and shout out to you. Like, leave a comment, don't be shy, but please stop stealing my work and pretending that it's from you.
Would perfection be never losing? No. Sometimes when you lose, you really win, and you learn as well. So sometimes you need to lose to come back. Anyway, and the motivation as well has been there today. I've been motivated by this. I'm gonna rewatch this show because I've got a game this weekend, and just to get tactics right and to get on the ball. Bath time, magnificent once again. Big up everyone in the comments. Big up everyone for tuning in. Appreciate what we're doing here. It takes a lot of work from Bath time to put the work in to deliver a show like this, and actually be confident in knowing what you're talking about. That's what I love about Bath time. He can explain something. There's no straining for some explaining, which I always say to people who are fluffing around. You're straining for some explaining. I can ask you anything half time. He can give you.
The real MVP is Big T, who has spent 2 hours. Like first, I think it was the first comment. He was talking about Chianti and like having a lovely meal. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, Big T. I'm eternally grateful for everyone that like puts up with all the nonsense that we put out, and thank you so much for listening and watching.
Big brains from zombies.
I don't have big brains. I don't know.
Big up DK Wilson as well. Hey guys, thanks again. Man United Agenda representing. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Share the show. Hope you got a lot from it. I certainly did. And Bath time, we'll be back tomorrow, no doubt. I'm sure at 9 p.m. Imagine.
I won't be doing the show tomorrow, though. I can tell you that right now.
And guys, if you want to be part of a quiz, let me know, because there's a quiz coming up this week. We'll set that up. If you want to join us and sit in the hot seat and do the quiz, it's on. If you can challenge the quiz master, that's me, and take me on, and we'll do a leaderboard and see who's the wisest dude out there. Anyway, we're going to sign out. Big up Bath time. Big up to everyone watching, and we will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. later.